Watinga tina, watinga baba sorufa, sapa sapendo sapa, bugi jevo. Watinga tina, watinga baba sorufa, sapa sapendo, modo, watinga tina, watinga baba sorufa, sapa sapendo, modo.
us a musical item while we're still waiting for the few that are coming by bus. If you are ready, please. They're coming. May I take this opportunity to greet you? My name is John Shongwe. I'm giving you this opportunity to greet the person next to you, just to know who he or she is. Wow, that breaks the ice. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hope we've broken the ice. Now you are seated next to somebody that you know who he or she is. Is the choir ready to offer us a musical item while we just wait for those who are coming? Where's the choir? They are not here. Oh, thank you. Okay, we wait for the choir to warm us, to cheer us up. Thank you. Everyone's okay, sure. This is the local choir, TUT Mbombela campus. once again, I think we're starting formally now. This reminds me of a time when we are invited to a wedding ceremony. You may have the time fixed that the wedding ceremony will start at 10, but you get stuck when by 10 o'clock you still have no people. So sometimes it's the people who determine your time. Sorry about that. But we are grateful that you have come now, and we can start with the occasion. I've introduced myself as John Shongwe, and I'm the program director. And welcome to this 5th session of the Dr. Nzima Memorial Lecture. This is the 5th year that we are going on with this lecture. Let us also remember that today is June the 16th, and it's a holiday. Thank you very much for setting aside your time to come here. You are coming from different walks of life, but we are grateful that you are here. We are grateful that the Vice Chancellor of Tshwane University of Technology, Professor Tinyiko Maluleka, is with us here. Welcome, sir, to your home. Our guest speaker who is here, Professor Peter Kanjoli and Nomalanga. Many of you who are here in various categories, the members of the family, Nzima family, Mazibuko family, and all the related surnames who are related to the Nzima family. You will be welcome accordingly. But overall, I just said to all of you, the students, I understand there are also student representative councils from different campuses and from the TVET colleges. Thank you for the support to make this occasion a success. We are grateful we are here. I am going to ask our Vice Chancellor to give us opening remarks. Our Vice Chancellor, who is head of the Tshwane University of Technology campus. I think, sir, you will move up with the guest speaker as well to be up here. Let's cheer them up, please. It is a time when we are going to be enriched in the presence of people who have walked a long way in life and who have seen many things. Prof, this is your time.
Sanbonan, Abshe. What a beautiful day. What a special occasion. It is one of the most important days in the history of, or in the academic year of the Tshwane University of Technology. Certainly also one of the most important days in the history of the country. I do a lot of work for this university and for the country. Sometimes I do the work grudgingly. But when I'm called to come down to Mbombela for the Dr. Nzima Memorial Lecture, I come happily. I can't wait to come for it. It's one of those things you do with joy and you do also with awe. I want to recognize and thank Professor Shongwe, who is a constant presence on this occasion. but also a leader of this university whose contribution continues to be impactful. We are honored to have someone like you to look up to, Professor Shongwe, and we value your continued guidance and friendship to the university. Let me also take the moment to recognize the leader of this campus, Dr. Nechiombo. I think I got to understand a little bit what Nechiombo means last night at the gala dinner. I'm not sure I quite get it, but I know that the ne is very important, almost as important, if not more important, as the Chiombo part. Because the ne means that he is a landowner, and the rest of us are tenants in that land. We really appreciate the leadership that Dr. Kenneth Nechiombo continues to provide for this campus. In a manner of speaking, and he was reminding me earlier today, Dr. Nechiombo is the principal of this campus. And he has been the only principal for a long time until the young upstarts called University of Mpumalanga arrived here, Abomafiki Zolo. We really, and if there's anyone from University of Mpumalanga, no offense intended, the more the merrier. But it is Africa. So Dr. Nechiombo, we really appreciate the leadership that you provide to our students and to the staff in this campus. You and I have the best job in the world, because what job could be better than being at the center of the nurturing of young, inquisitive, fresh minds? What could be more important than guiding them, inspiring them, and giving them the skills they need in the 21st century? We have a very, very important and interesting job. Mr. Tulani Nzima, chairperson of the foundation, Dr. Sam Nzima Foundation, you have become like a brother to me and to the university. If the university was a person, they will say, "Put Tulan," when referring to you. I am in awe of the manner in which you provide leadership for the foundation. You are the son every father wishes they had. I'm sure that every time your father watches you and your siblings working together to keep his memory alive, working together to take guardianship of his legacy, I am sure wherever he is, he smiles. You know, this picture of June 16 that is here in front of us, if it were not for your leadership, it could be one of those pictures that belong to everyone and is being exploited everywhere by anyone for any cause. We know how that kind of thing happens and has happened in this country. I don't want to talk about Solomon Linda and his song, Boobe, which later on was stolen all over the world, and it became Wimowe, whatever Wimowe means. It was called Wimowe in America, and people made a lot of money out of it. Fortunately, that was stopped later on. But it's not only the commercial value of the photograph, but the moral value of it. Because how many other photos have that moral stature that calls a nation back to where it ought to be every time one looks at it? So to you and to the Nzima Foundation, we have no words with which to thank you for keeping alive the work and memory of a South African hero. I have noted, before I say just a few words, that in our midst we also have a whole lot of members of the Nzima clan who are here. It is always an honor for us to interact with you and to welcome you on a day like this. Among my colleagues, I may not remember all of them because I have no list in front of me. I know that if Dr. Mushatoni was here, he would come and complain and say, but I was sitting staring at you and you did not mention me. Because that happens. But I do want to acknowledge the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation, Dr. Vati Swa Papu Zamkaka. She's sitting right here and she's looking at me and she would have challenged me for forgetting her when she's sitting right in front. I also want to acknowledge among my staff also the CFO of the university, Mr. Tio Madurai. He is sitting next to Dr. Caroline Silepe, who works in my office. And they are also sitting with our young colleague who has been doing tremendous work in my office also. I saw Dr. Chamano from the Polokwane campus, Bomsanda. Bagay. And I also saw the campus rector, Volumadi, from the Harangwa campus. And Bakolor, welcome. I am not sure who of my staff members I'm forgetting, but I am sure I'm forgetting someone very important. And I'm ready for the trouble that comes with that kind of forgetfulness. I will refer to our guest speaker right at the end of my remarks. I'm saving him for the last part of my remarks. You know, every nation has got its heroes. A few such heroes are knighted and officialized through the awarding of various national orders like we do have. But I want to suggest that there is always more heroes than those who catch the eyes of the emperors and the rulers. There is always more heroes than the soldiers and the commanders. There are always more heroes than the celebrated generals and guerrillas. There are heroes who waged no military war. Heroes who shot no guns, remembering your words last night, Tulane. Heroes who actually wage peace. Masana Samuel Nzima is such a hero. There are always real heroes, other than those mistaken for heroes simply because they wield power from the top of their hills amidst grotesque national monuments built by the victors. There are better and different heroes than those whose wealth is performed daily in Stellenbosch and Camps Bay. Masana Nzima was such a different and a better hero. There are purer forms of decent power than either the ruthless decadence of tenderpreneurs or the much revered and much feared gangster violence of the Cape Flats. As we live through the torrid cannibalism of Medelpos squatter camp in Saldanha Bay, where 7-year-old, 6-year-old Jocelyn Smith was sold off, while we stand aside and look, remember that line from Bob Marley's redemption song? While we stand aside and look at a South African society that is becoming so cowardly and so cannibalistic, a society that is turning upon the most vulnerable, children, women, and the differently abled. It is important that we remember the selflessness of Sam Nzima and Sophie Tima. Unlike James Otway, who in half a minute took a series of photos documenting the killing of Emmanuel Sithole in Alexander Township, April 2015, and then walked away. Nzima and Tima did not walk away. Unlike James Carter, who in 1993 took that picture of a child so emaciated, so hungry, so tired, with a vulture waiting to pounce, Sam Nzima did not walk away, nor did his picture win the Pulitzer Prize. But unlike Carter, he did not commit suicide 4 months after winning that prize. Nzima and Tima did not walk away. They drove young Peterson in their work VW Beetle to the nearest medical center. But alas, the boy did not make it. But they did not walk away. And for these reasons, this university is immensely proud to be associated with such a character as Dr. Sam Nzima. Every year we gather in this place, at this campus of the Tshwane University of Technology, not too far away from where Sam Nzima was born and later buried. And for me, personally, as the Vice Chancellor and Principal, it is an honor and a tremendous privilege to lead a university that is trying to emulate the conduct, the personality, and the integrity of this man we are remembering today. Like him, we are not satisfied merely to be good at what we do. We wish to be ethical in what we do, hence our ambition to move from good to great. Greatness comes to, or when people go beyond the call of duty, it comes to those who are ethical, those who take pictures but cannot walk away from a tragic situation. More than a decade ago, I published reflective articles on Professor Pitika Ntuli and Antoinette Ntuli, his wife, separately. You know what they say about first impressions. Every time I saw him, of course I know him. If you didn't know Professor Pitika Ntuli, you remember that advert? If you don't know pine nut, you know nothing. If you don't know Professor Pitika Ntuli, you know nothing. But every time I met him, there was something that I thought until I put it down in writing. Because although I knew him, I didn't know him. And it went like this. Who is this man whose words tease, soothe, bruise, and heal? I wrote it 12 years ago. Who is this man at whose touch dead wood comes back to life? Who is this man who battles with stone until it smiles? Who is this man who, bypassing flesh and blood, goes back to the bone to draw meaning and invoke immortality? Who is this man? Who is this man who causes an uprising of the debris of Western industrial culture, instigating them to revolt against their users and their uses? Under the spell of this man, derelict wheelbarrows, abandoned exhaust pipes, and irreparable motor engine parts come back to haunt us as works of art. This is the son of preacherman Nzima Ntuli, Pitika Ntuli, Sompisi. What a proud moment it is for the Tshwane University of Technology and the Mbombela campus to be your host today. We are all ears. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Maluleke. When Prof. Maluleke referred to Dr. Nzima, that he would be proud, and he is proud where he is, it reminded me when we invited Thulani to be a guest speaker at the University of Mpumalanga. It was a graduation. So Dr. Nzima was there in the audience. When Thulani finished talking, he just immediately stood up wherever he was and he started saying praise poems for, I don't know if it were meant for Thulani or it was meant for the whole Nzima clan, but he was so excited. So I remember, as you said, so Prof, it was a special occasion. Wow. There are people who've been mentioned by the VC by names. So I'll exercise my own powers as program director to call them once again, but solely for the purpose of us to see them and know them. In case I pronounce your names wrongly, please forgive me. I think he talked about the Deputy Vice Chancellor, is it Dr. Kalova? Is that you? Please stand up and wave to the audience that they know you. Let's cheer them. The Vice Chancellor also referred to the campus principal of Polokwane campus, the TUT campus at Polokwane. That was Dr. Walter Tsamane. Where you are, please wave to the audience. Then he referred to Dr. Elkana Lumadi. Please stand up and that they will see you and thank you. Then he referred to Dr. Silepi. Please, where you are, stand up, let's see you and thank you. I think he also referred to Theodore in finances. Please, sir. Yeah, I think those are the names I can remember now. We will now call upon the campus principal, Dr. Kenneth Njuombe. After his speech, the choir, please, I didn't warn you. After his speech, please come and render an item. The choir will also render an item immediately after the speech by Prof. Pitikantuli. So, Dr. Njuombe, please, you're welcome to welcome us. I'm not sure if this one is working because where the people who are operating this, I think it would be good that we use that. I'm not sure if it is working. It is working, sure.
I need to adjust it to my height. Thank you, Professor Shongwe. Thank you, Professor Maluleke. Thank you, the guest of honor, Prof. Pitika. Thank you, Nzima Tulan. Thank you, Nzima, the senior. Thank you, everybody. Good morning, and a very welcome to the 5th Nzima Memorial Lecture. It is a great pleasure to have you all here today to celebrate this special occasion with us. I would like to take a moment to extend my warmest greetings to each and every one of you for making the effort to be here. This is very special to the Mbombela campus, TUT. I welcome and acknowledge the presence of members of the executive management of TUT. They've already been introduced by the Vice Chancellor. I also acknowledge and welcome members of Mbombela Campus Management Committee. I see some of the here. I acknowledge the presence of the institutional SRC members and our own Mbombela Campus SRC, members of other campuses SRCs. I acknowledge the presence of the Etlanzeni TVET College SRC. Where are you? There you are. You are welcome. I also acknowledge the presence of the University of Mpumalanga SRC. I think they're on their way. They haven't arrived yet. Today marks a special day for us as we come together to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Nzima. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our guests of honor for gracing us with this presence and support, accompanied by his wife, Norma Langa. Is that correct? You are welcome, Norma Langa. Please stand up so that people will see you. Norma Langa, the son. You are most welcome. Our event promises to be a fun-filled and exciting experience for all, with a range of activities and competitions lined up. I hope that you'll all make the most of this opportunity to come together, network, and make new friends. So without further ado, let us all sit back, relax, and enjoy the lecture. I thank you, and you're all welcome.
Hey!
That is Bombela Campus Choir. Last year, we won all the categories in the Dr. Koza's competition in Malamulele. This year, we're going back again on the 6th of July. We must come back with those trophies. We must win again. But I'm not here for that. I did a terrible omission when I announced and welcomed people. And I forgot the most important persons and people amongst us. The Nzima family, the whole clan. Let me not say clan, a family, the whole clan. And also the Masibukos, who traveled all the way from Eswatini. You're heartily welcome. My apologies for omitting that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nechuombe, and thank you to the choir. Wow, what a performance. Let's share them again. Wow. They performed so well that the Deputy Vice Chancellor could not resist it. She started. Thank you, Doctor. We're a family, let us feel free. If there's somebody that you feel we should recognize, please tell me that there is so and so, please recognize him. Let's be free. Feel home. I will just accept what you suggest. Just now I've realized that we also have the deputy vice principal, the deputy principal of Sibande, responsible for academics, that is Mr. Bafana Mota. Shlebenkolmo, if you may stand up and do this, we'll appreciate it. From Sibande. Thank you very much. Now I'll call upon Tulani Nzima to do his performance.
I must start by adjusting this to my heart. Program Director, good morning to you. There's a temptation to avoid protocol, otherwise I'm going to break it somewhere. But same protocol dictates that I recognize the presence of the Vice Chancellor and Principal of Tshwane University of Technology, Professor Diniko Maluleke. Thank you so much, Prof, for spending time with us. I think Dr. Neshiombo yesterday was giving an analogy of how you can soar with angels by association. So by association with the university, as the Nzima Foundation, we really feel elevated. And especially with someone like you, who has a lot of responsibilities, getting invited to different places on a day like this, but choosing to be with us here. We appreciate that. On your earlier remark to say if the university was a human being, it would call me Butulani. I think it can still call me Professor Tulani. I was invited to a graduation ceremony here, not the one that Dr. Shongwe was talking about, where I delivered the keynote address. But this time I was part of the congregation here. And in your absence, Prof, Dr. Neshiombo was the acting chancellor. And he made me dress up in a doctoral gown. I took the pictures and I couldn't resist the temptation to go on social media and show people that I'm now Professor Tulani Nzima. Last month, I was invited again, and this time, for some inexplicable reason, I was given a master's gown to wear. I took a picture and shared it with my wife, and she said, "What happened to your doctoral degree, to your professor degree?" So these things don't last long. Professor Pitikantuli, what an honor to have you with us here. I'm not going to say a lot because your moment will come. And it is such an honor for us to have you join us today. The campus rector, Dr. Neshombo, who has traveled this road with us for a long time, we thank you. And all the important guest speakers to my left, Mr. Lukolo Hobushe, the Managing Director of Adapt IT, an organization that has worked with us from beginning to where we are now, and hopefully beyond this time. I want to recognize the board of the Nzima Foundation, the family as a whole. Indeed, we can be described as a clan because we have quite a lot of lineage, and I can't make the mistake of trying to recognize them individually. But I have to also recognize the presence of doctors, husband and wife, Mabunda, Dr. Mabunda and Dr. Mabunda, both of you, can you please stand up and be recognized? The reason why I single out Dr. Mabunda is because this is the man who assumed the role of being Rasem's physician. With every headache that Rasem had, this is the man he would call. And I suppose you also broke protocol at some stage, Dr. Mabunda, agreeing to give my dad a Panado prescription on the phone. And he was very grateful for that. Even when he was not very, I'm saying Panado, nothing bigger than that. We thank you very much. This is the doctor who also, after the passing on of my dad, he gave a medical report on how my dad passed on. Not because he was his physician, but because of the relationship. It's an honor to have you with us, Dr. Mabunda, for the first time in an event like this today. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to take a different approach in sharing with you why we are here. But let me also start from Wednesday morning in June 1976. It was a normal day. Nothing untoward about that day. It could have been any other day for that matter. Any day of the week or the year, as June 16, 1976 would have been. It could have been that day. The weather was immaterial at the time, cold as it may have been, but the stench of burning coal in Soweto and the smoke that engulfed the township, that was the usual thing. We woke up that morning to a normal day. People woke up to do their normal day chores. They were rushing to work. The taxis and the trains were operating as normal. The students woke up to a normal day in 1976. But there were plans. There were different plans. Those plans included the students who were gathering for a peaceful march to register their protest against the use of Africans. The apartheid police were also gathering to deal very decisively with the agitators and what they called Kliphoyers at the time. The media was gathering. They were gathering to cover the peaceful march of the students. students to Orlando Stadium, where they were simply going to hand over a memorandum. It was supposed to be a peaceful march. That was the plan. A peaceful march to demonstrate against the use of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. Whilst the students were marching from different directions, the police were also closing in from different positions. They took their positions. The students, the media, and the police all converged at Uncle Tom's, not by design, but by accident, because that's where the police had decided to mount a roadblock at Vilakazi Street. The tensions were palpable at that stage. The stage was set for a confrontation between the police and the students. Until that moment of madness, when the police commander gave the instructions to disperse in 3 minutes, or he will throw the tear gas. I suppose you may want to say the rest is history. Painful history. Hastings Ndlovu was shot and killed by the police. Hector Peterson was shot and killed by the police in the mayhem that followed. Dr. Sam Nzima was there to capture the moment that changed the trajectory of our struggle, our history. The world came face to face with the reality of the brutality of the apartheid system at the time. That was the moment, a day that started normally on Wednesday, the 16th of December, 1976. So that's the reason why we're here. 49 years later, since June 16, 1976, a student uprising. But in May 2025 also marks 7 years since the passing on of Dr. Sam Nzima. So that's why we're here. We're celebrating, commemorating June 16, but we're also here to commemorate Sam Nzima. The country is commemorating the day with no reference whatsoever to Dr. Sam Nzima. We chose to be here to honor the man. The June 16 commemorations are cutting across the political divide, but all of them with no reference to Dr. Sam Nzima. All of you seated here could have been at more exciting rallies that are taking place in the country at bigger stadia or bigger halls with free food, drinks, with a chance that you could also have gotten a free t-shirt to show your allegiance. As the foundation, as the family, and the Tshwane University of Technology, we are acutely aware that no one owes us anything. No one owes us anything. We are not entitled to demand the honoring of Dr. Sam Nzima by choice. If Dr. Sam Nzima's contribution to the democracy that we are enjoying today was that important, we should be invited and asked to attend events. There should be a stampede here of people coming to honor Dr. Sam Nzima. But maybe Prof. Nduli, Prof. Maluleke, we should wake up to the reality that we are the only ones that are a little bit delusioned about the importance a question. I'm just asking, I'm just wondering. Ours is a very clear program. It is about the promotion, the protection, and the preservation of the legacy of this man called Dr. Nzima. It means a lot of things. I'm not going to delve too much into that. But Prof. Maluleke, you were talking about the different ways in which some work of art has been used and abused, commercialized, and all of those kind of things. That is our responsibility. And this responsibility must be well understood, that the foundation is simply a custodian of this heritage picture, but the picture belongs to the nation. In taking you through this process, I want you to maybe close your eyes in a prayer of sort. I want to take you back to 1976 and ask you to think along with me along these lines. I want you to imagine June 16 without the Hector Peterson image. If this picture was not captured, I want you to think about that. And what if Dr. Nzima did not bravely capture this image? And bravely because he took this picture against a hail of bullets, tear gas, and threats that you could not, as a black journalist, take a picture of police in action at the time. What if he did not naively hide this film in his socks to save the picture? That's the other naivety that this man had. Daring the police, taking the picture and hiding this film. What if he didn't do that? How would June 16 look like today if that didn't happen? How long do you think our liberation struggle would have taken if the international community did not ever get to see that horrific picture of Hector Peterson? Because this is the picture that awoken even the most democrat of white people who thought our liberation was easily attainable. When will we be satisfied? We should have been quieter then. What if the international community did not see this picture? So if you imagine that and tell me, how long do you think it would have taken to attain our democracy? Well, personally, I can't imagine how long the history of our democracy could have taken without Nzima capturing that moment. I'm also battling to imagine how June 16 is commemorated today without regard to Nzima's contribution. It's me speaking. I can't imagine those things. It was Adolf Hitler, of all people, who reminded us that when you are in the light, everything follows you. But when you enter into the dark, he says even your own shadow stops following you. Let me conclude by reminding you that we should please protect the June 16 legacy and its history, if for anything but just for posterity. Let us not be too apologetic and lose the essence of our being and the history. What do I mean by that? It seems like we are the only nation that is asked to forgive in this call for reconciliation, and we openly and hurriedly welcome it. Maybe we did not suffer enough to remember the pain. And and I'm not talking to the Gen Z, I'm talking to all of us. Why? I want us to be reminded that even in atrocities, which we have seen the world over, there is value in culture and history. Even in the face of atrocity, there is value in culture and history. Today, it pains me when I reflect on where we are now. We maintain that June 16 is Soweto Student Uprising. That's what it is supposed to be called, not Youth Day. The risk of giving different names is that we forget to link it to history. Very quickly, our kids won't know what Youth Day is all about, where it comes from. We maintain that March the 21st is Sharpeville Massacre Day. It is not Human Rights Day. We have no problem with you talking about Human Rights Day on that day, but please call it what it is. Sharpeville Massacre, that's what it is. If we don't do this as seniors, let us not blame the new generation when they don't put decorum to days such as this one. I conclude with another interesting politician, Napoleon Bonaparte, who said to us, "The world suffers a lot, not because of the violence of bad people, but because of the silence of good people." So thank you very much.
Thanks, Tulani. We appreciate it. I would also like to welcome Hosi Hlachwayo, whom I understand is the youth advocate and company director. Baba Hlachwayo, if you may please indicate where you are, just greet the audience. Thank you very much. Now we go to the introduction of the guest speaker. We'll ask Dr. Tebogo Rahoho to introduce the guest speaker. Thank you, sir.
Ndumacherioni, Awisheni, Sanbonani. All right, Program Director, thank you so much. I think it is such a great honor for me to introduce our keynote speaker, but let me indicate that this task was supposed to be done by our Executive Dean, Professor Mashupje Masrumuli. His profile is too long, but I will try to encapsulate it so that I can do justice to this project. Professor Pitika Ntuli was born in Springs in the East Rand, Gauteng province. He is a seasoned academic who has contributed immensely to the academic landscape. He started his academic career as a teacher in the Ministry of Education in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Throughout the years, he held various positions, actually various high-profile positions, including Deputy Vice Chancellor at the University of Durban, Westville. He is a professor of fine arts and art history. He was the chairperson of the Mbogodo Awards for Women in the Arts, fellow of the Mapungubwe Institute, principal of the Pitika and Antoinette Ntuli Academy of Visual Arts and Culture, and being a visual artist and commentator, amongst others. From 2003 to 2022, Professor Ntuli has served on various national commissions such as the Commission for the Promotion and Protection of the Rights and Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities, which is a Chapter 9 institution, a board member of the National Commission on Moral Regeneration, chair of the Ministerial Advisory Project on African Languages within the higher education. And this is important because this particular panel gave birth to the Language Policy Framework for Public Higher Education Institutions, which was gazetted in 2020. He also participated in the Ministerial Advisory Committee on Indigenous Knowledge Systems, chair of the Arts and Culture 2010 Ministerial Task Team, and commissioner of the Commission on Traditional Leadership Disputes and Claims, and member of the Ministerial Task Team on Traditional Leadership. Professor Pitika Ntuli's passion for language and the arts saw him win a number of South African prestigious awards, such as the Kyknet Vistas Best Achievement in Visual Arts Award in 2023, the South African Traditional Music Award in 2022, the Living Legends Award from the Department of Sport Arts Culture in 2021, Global Fine Arts People's Choice Award in 2020, the Johannesburg Soccer Legends Awards, Indondo Social Cohesion and Nation Building Award, Arts and Culture Trust, Lifetime Achievement Award, and the City of Johannesburg Living Legend Award. Professor Ntuli is a regular commentator on arts, culture, social and economic issues for a wide range of TV and radio platforms. So his contribution to the humanities and social sciences is realized through his solo and group exhibitions showcased in various art galleries, both locally and internationally, where the primary focus was on the protection of the indigenous knowledge systems and also African Renaissance, which cannot be separated from the decoloniality project. His influence continues to resonate with our work as we aim to cultivate a new generation of scholars, storytellers, and change makers who are dedicated to African central knowledge, linguistic justice, and epistemic freedom. His commitment supports the advancement of impactful research and transformative research, which remains a central pillar of the decoloniality project. Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together to welcome the literary giant, the towering intellectual, and the fierce advocate of decolonization, Professor Ntuli.
Thank you. It is a singular honor for me to be invited to deliver this annual lecture. I'd like to thank the foundation as well as the Nzima clan, Tshwane University of Technology, as represented by Vanati here, Professor Diniko Malulega, and everybody here in present. If I were to thank everybody in here, then you'll miss a few words of what I'm going to say. I'm also very pleased that we've got a number of students here. It is them I would also particularly would like to talk about. Yesterday in the gala dinner, I briefly introduced myself, but I think I need to reintroduce myself for the benefit of these young people that are sitting there who would like to know who I am. I am an African caressed by African winds, trade and anti-trade washed by many rivers, pure and impure, endurance tested by the rugged edges of Mount Kilimanjaro Edukatlamba. Within the retina of my eyes, in the midst of sandstorms, I carry a clear vision of Africa's rebirth. I swear by every grain of sand in the Sahel and in the Kalahari. I tasted the fragrance of dawn in Nyanga, Langa, Kukuletu, in Soweto and in Sharpeville in my mother's womb. I was a neighbor to a bullet, and today I taste the fruits of dubious freedom in my land. Am I not the son of great African women, of great African women? Umantantise, Wabatokwa, Uzigadongo, Wase Angola. I am a child of my mother. I've suckled the languages of my people from my mother's sweating breasts. Who am I? Ngingumhlalwana mbalundulu zimpudelane la ngicabanga ngohloko emambo hlapha nomkhoko wahlala isikhambele kwakhe. Ugodide kanjela kasopisi kamsalela kanomashini. Uphemba kamakhanda amadibaye baphemba ngezi. Umukhamuke koloni ke ndithi lala njalo ke mbambutshe ndinenkulu yakulonhlutshe amabhongo wafezile bokubuntu bugqibile ubuyinja ngokuvela nangokuzalwa zonke izinto zakhamuntu kwenziwe isigcawu awonanga wonakele nezincwadi zifundisiwe akonanga okamla ukwenza lo mzekelo yini niyenze nje inja. Child of Timbanyika, the father of Velelambe, Uhupikoto, Uyando, you who carry the blood of Ravura, of Nelenguta, yes, you who breathe the fumes of Lake Funduzi, who buried your umbilical cord in Zata, yes, the Titenze, the honor of Titenze, Nzima, the honor of the drumsticks. In Dayanduna. Njengeliswati ke ninebekunene enahlela bombo ngokuhlehletela usobhuzulo mabanzi imitile encane uyayisibekela wawuhlanga uyashashabula wena washiya tingwe natemkhondvo tasala bamba magwebu utwayekela wena waqhawula King George Phesheya wathi oh yes bathi miyekeleni umntwana mbambeni itandla netinyawo unathe namba libe nabathakathi omkhize namabhoko umntwana onathamanda sekolini. NjengomZulu ke udlungwane kandaba udlungwane nombelebele odluke emanqulubeni kwaze kwasemanqulube sibikelana usishaka sishayeki sinjengamanzi unodumehle zikamenzi ilembe leqamanye amalembe ngokukhalipha ushange sabe ukuthi ushaka inkomo ekhala emthonjaneni izizwe zonke zizwile kulila izwe ukuthi zaseliyengweni yazwa amangcekeza kakazi utekula abafazi bakaNomgabhi betekula behleze emlovini bethi ushaka ayikubusa kakuba inkosi kathi lapho ezonethezela umlilo othathele kaMjohane umlilo obuhanguhangu sisho isikhobo zasedlebe kwaze kwase babedlali wadabula indima nomgovu iziqu zemithi zabheka phezulu. So comrades, colleagues, members of the family, it's time that we say a few words. Professor Maluleke, who I must also add, and together with the TUT, granted me a doctorate in language practice. That's why I told you these languages. But nonetheless, that's good. So much has been said about Dr. Sam Nzima. You have been hearing it this morning. You have been hearing it all along. But what is it that is not actually being said? Dr. Sam Nzima was not alone in this field. When I think of him, I remember Alf Kubalo. I remember No, will you come back to me? At least as soon as I look at my wife, I will remember. We said, we have Alf Kumalo over here, the George Hallets of the cameras, the David Gold Platts, and a number of other people who use their cameras in order to capture the trauma and the challenges that were confronting us at that particular time. So he is very unique in a way, to me, very particularly. I am 85 years of age, and I have been sculpting and writing poems, but in my 85 years, not once have I sculpted anything from a photograph. But when it gets on to Sam Nzima, I did a sculpture for it. The sculpture is made out of wheelbarrow frames. The feet are hoes. The heads are plumbing joints where the water goes freely. The hands are forks. Symbolically, when you look at it, you know what Sam was talking about, that these people were wearing these feet of theirs, eating away the apartheid nonsense, ready to do these things. The wheelbarrows, you know how the wheelbarrows you have been using the wheelbarrows to do very simple things, but when the children became wheelbarrows, then we are talking a different language, a language that you cannot forget. So let me put it again this way then. That Sam Nzima did not take a photo. He opened a wound and dared the world to look. And when I think of it, I also think of somebody I do not know, but whose work I had read. There's a woman called Ruth Simbao, who wrote a very powerful article fighting with the owners of the World newspaper, who were saying that the photographs that Sam took do not belong to him. They belong to the newspaper, because they were paying him. But Ruth would not buy that. I wrote something here about Ruth. I said, Ruth, teller of the shadow, you saw the editor's scalpel cutting out truth to fit their gallery of lies. You named it. You challenged it. You sculpted the truth out of it. You would not be silent when Sam was kicked around on the talents that he holds. So, let's say this now. We were not here to remember a photograph, as he said. We are here to resurrect a moment of truth that refused to be cropped, a shadow that refused to die. They say a photo captures light, but yours, Baba Nzima, captured a shadow, captured the scream of a nation cradled in the arms of a boy named Mbuyiseni. Where is he? Asimbuyiseni. It is all into our hands. So Dr. Sam Nzima did not simply take a photo, he risked everything to give us an image we would never, ever unsee. It's lodged into our minds. He saw the bullet in motion, but he also saw the afterlife of witness. So he hid the film in his sock, tucked into the sanctuary of resistance. He knew truth was dangerous, but he also knew truth must outlive the moment that it reveals. But then they tried to remove the shadow that he took. They cropped it, they cleaned it. They made it gallery safe, history safe, textbook safe, but the shadow is not error. The shadow is Sansam, it is Ubuntu, the shadow is spirit. How did he struggle like this from someone to be born on a farm? You know how it is. That when we got angry, we said, we were saying something like, kill a farmer, kill a bull. We were so angry with farmers. He was born up on a farm. He was self-educated, person. He did not come carrying degrees, but the degrees that he had were infused upon him by his ancestors and on his God to making a very remarkable human being who was a threat to the military-industrial complex of the country. When you think of people like him, of people like Peter Magubane, of all the other artists that contributed so much, you think really about them, then you ask yourself as to whether if we as a people and as a government honored these people, we have messed everybody else up, right? We started with RDP, Reconstruction and Development, the most brilliant idea. What are we reconstructing? Are we reconstructing our economy? Are we reconstructing our language? Are we reconstructing our economy? That is Then we had the national curriculum statement for further education that Kada Asmal did. My job was culture and heritage. We had everything there, things to be taught of, even in our languages, and so on and so forth. What happened to that document? That document was jettisoned. We have Chapter 9 institutions, so many of them like PENSALP and all of these things, but where do they deliver? Not, because we are not interested in people who think, we're interested in people who obey. We deploy people who are just going to say yes to you while the nation suffers, while our ancestral legacies are being pushed and being kicked around, by people whose mind are tuned more to America, than in the bowels of Soshanguve and here in Mpumalanga. So, let us say then, we must at least remember that this foundation has got a big responsibility. TUT in itself for taking this one up by conferring a degree on SAM, that's it. But then I must then move and link this thing. I cannot think of SAM Nzima without thinking of Ngugi wa Thiong'o, the writer of greatness, the great one. Me, him, the three of us shared one thing. We're involved in the matters of language. Ngugi said, decolonize your mind. First thing, you decolonize language. Apartheid said, forget your languages and take all Africans. Then we can see the Ngugi, saying, interlude, moving and intersecting. How can I be away from this country for 33 years and still be able to recite the... Many of you are sitting in here, and you just don't even know the language. I tell you guys, you know what? You're all sitting in here. You think you're going to know. You guys don't know your language. I'm going to say finally this one. In a phone, you enter any you're even ashamed to speak your language. Nzima Kagi. Nzima Kagi. Ngiete enye. Amazulu is another. let's try Swana. You've got one, you add another one, and then another, and then another, and then another. Yeah, it's the same thing. You know what? Immediately you come to 5, you are no longer adding, you are symbolizing. Hlanu gela, wozala matupa. Skombisa, 5, 6, 7, you symbolize. What is 8? Robedi, Robodu, Shiakalombili, you are subtracting. When you get to 10, you are resolving in tens. That's the knowledge. When we speak about the denial of your own language, that apartheid language, that same to capture hangs on issues such as this. What do we then say? We had opportunities when we merged our universities. We could have come up with African universities, with African thinking, African philosophies in everything that we did, but instead we repeated and came up with an Oxbridge photocopy type of education. Now, if the people that are ruling today could get into the mind of Sam, maybe they could have a very different vision of seeing life from an angle that coloniality has already embedded into their minds. It's an honor for me. Thank you very much to the foundation, to the university, and for you who are around in here. But I would like to leave many of you here. I asked some young people here, and I said to these young people, what do you think of the old people who are around here? You know what they said? They said, no, they are all right, except that they are the types that get themselves involved in Mubango, even if I'm not stingo. May I take this opportunity to say, thank you, very much. If the time was not, in there, I would be asking my wife to say, thank me to you on your behalf, because her words are very good. Thank you.
That is beautiful. Let's cheer them up again. We wish you good luck, and I'm sure you're going to make it. I think so. Mr. Conductor, Comfort Nyaka, that's the name of the conductor. Thank you very much. We're impressed. After the tribute by Nzima, we are going to get a poem. Somebody is going to do a poem for us. So, Mr. Nzima, please come forward.
Professor Shomwe, I'm afraid to say whether program director or master of ceremonies, because with these protocols, I might be demoting you. So it's safe to say, Professor Shomwe, all protocol observed. Our special guest, the Nzima Mazibua clan, it gives me pride to indicate that we have families from Emelo, Sekunda, Nkomazi, Eswatini, Bushbuck Ridge, KZN, and I'd forgotten Gauteng until I was reminded. Good afternoon. Let me start off by saying a belated Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are present here. I messed up yesterday morning. My wife in the morning happily said, Happy Father's Day. I then said, same to you. It is indeed my honor to stand before you and represent the family. Nowadays, when you speak to South Africans, you must be very careful. It reminds me of our late president, Nelson Mandela. Upon his release, among the first countries he visited, he went to India. Now, in a packed media briefing, the journalists were asking, President, they were addressing him by President even before. They said, President, we have noticed one thing with South Africans. Every time you ask them a question, they respond by asking another question. Then the old man said, who told you? So I was confirming that indeed they respond by asking another question. As a family, we must indicate that we respect the anointment that was done by Dr. Nzima before his passing, of the chairman of the Nzima Foundation, Butulani Nzima. We must indicate that we'll never ever challenge that, because that's an anointment that was done by the man who's no more. If we have to challenge it, it means we must reverse the whole process. The same thing can be said by the anointment that was done by my father to the next pastor, Pastor Mabuza, who is also with us here today. Thank you very much, the family pastor. Before the copyright, way back, I want to quote what Dr. Nzima said, and it was written. I was looking for that paper, I can't find it, but one day we'll find it. He wrote, I quote, I'll die a happy man should my children and my children's children, family and the whole world know that it was me, Nzima, who took this famous picture. 1998, the dream came through. the whole world knew. So Sam died a happy man, although bitter about the people who continue to sabotage the program. All days are celebrated worldwide. Some celebrate birthdays. Some celebrate the days on which they got married, although little is celebrated about divorce dates. So as Nzima family, June 16 to us is celebrated as the day that changed the life of Dr. Sam Nzima. Immediately after June 16, Dr. Sam Nzima became the most wanted person by the police. He became the most hated person by the apartheid regime. But on a positive note, he became the most popular photographer this world had ever witnessed. He became, that day, Sam's picture changed the status of the Nzima family, or together with the Mazibuko clan. It has become an honor to associate ourselves with the family with the same name because of this picture. Even in our area, if you don't want to get lost, you'll tell them about, even if you stay 2 kilometers away, but you'll say, no, go to Sam Nzima bottle store, because you know the value that is attached to the family. So that has indeed changed. And on a sound note, his death shocked the whole world. I best remember the day on which our dad passed on. We were in the hospital here with Bongani and other family members. Before we could even reach home, television and the whole world had known that Sam was no more. I'm going to take a risk and quote, Professor Maluleke made a quote, so I'm going to quote Mark 6 verse 4. It says in quotes, Jesus said to them, prophets are respected everywhere except in their own hometown and by our own relatives and their family. We are not surprised by the continuous refusal by some to honor and support Dr. Sam Nzima and all his programs. Our special thanks to the Sam Nzima Foundation Board. I know there's a vote of thanks, but as a family, we need to express our gratitude. We also give our special thanks to TUT community. I'm trying to be careful here, because the moment I start from Vice Chancellor going down in that way, I might in the way fall off the line. But the whole community, remember, like I said yesterday, we have entered into a marriage. All these marriages that we have, it ends with till death do us apart. This one that we have with TUT, it does not have that clause. That tells you that it will never come to an end. Adapt IT, thank you very much. You are one of the few or maybe only businesses that come to associate with this big project. To the family, thank you very much. Some of you had to travel long distances to come and be with us here. We salute and thank you so much. Even to other people who have no attachment but only sentimental ones, who had to take all the trouble to travel to here, we salute and thank you very much for the support. The media houses, print and electronic, thank you very much. You have been trying under hard times to make sure there is attachment to the picture. I know some other media houses would just put the picture and Youth Day without the name of Dr. Sam Nzima. The story is not complete once it does not have that. Mpumalanga community, the place of the rising sun. We are proud of this province. It has produced giants in music, if I start and mention that, you know, until sunset, Borei Piri, Rebecca Malupi, football, education, in the field of medicine and other departments, we are proud of our province. We are gradually challenging Gauteng with its home of the champions. We'll be closing the borders soon as the province and the family, because we know all wise people were born in the East and they realize their potential when they move to Gauteng. So once we close the borders, they will realize their potentials while they are here. It's no surprise that Dr. Nichombe and Professor Maluleke had to associate themselves with this institution that is based in Mpumalanga. Professor Shongwe, let's continue with our fight, that of bestowing the freedom of the city of Mbombela to Dr. Nichombe. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nzima. We're now going to listen to the poem by Lerato Mahlaisa. Please, Lerato, where are you?
A youth day, a celebration, it seems. On this day, tribute we must pay to all the student lives. The role of students need to be recognized in liberation of South Africa from the apartheid region. Go boima, go botlhoko, dipelo di rotha madi, mebila e tletse ka madi. Meego ya baithuti ya falala bjalo ka moedi, ba tlhokile mmueledi. A youth day, a celebration, it seems. A holiday with a horrifying theme. Hector taking his last breath, the last thing he sees, a children's death. Go sa go selema sa gana swele di fatlego di nabile o bolaya ke motho ka meno masheu botlhoko bo tlhabela pelong bo tlhabela le maikutlo. A youth day, a celebration, it seems. No child should ever die that way, but sadly that's a reality of that day. They had no weapons, so we know we started this fight. Balla selo sa matlhabisha ditlhong balla ba re thushang ga go nka itswang lemina balla ba re ke sa le moswa ke sekokotlelo sa batswadi balla ba bolelwa lemina se ga bo bona. A youth day, a celebration, it seems. Children in danger because of the color of their skin. Black lies, but white chose their language. They went to school to enrich their mind, but on that day, they ran for their lives. Bane le tshepo ya gore ka le lengwe di tla kopana tšeo di sa kopanego ke dithaba ba lla selo sa matlhabisha ditlhong ba re sera sa ka ntlogele na sa gago ke sefeng. A youth day, a celebration, it seems. They stood firm in their feet, in the air, in their uniform they rose together, confronting heavily armed police. They were only looking for justice. Balla selo sa matlhabisha ditlhong ba re bjalo mmana ka iniela ba re ntho e ke phelang a se bophelo balla ba re lefase ema ke fologe. A youth day, a celebration, it seems. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lerato Mahlaisa, the current ETO of Mbombela campus, CSRC. Ke mogala ka ko ba tshwane kwa mara ka iputhile ya puthila go be a rola. Ke slogolo sa bo motlo tsemolang wa pele bo morana se bapola. Ke tsatsang ka gare ba seema ka maoto matutu ke ngadi ma ledika. Ke ngwana mopedi ke tla thebeng ja mma le bogo. Ke re moshadi.
Thank you, Lerato. It's appreciated. We are now going to have the announcement, that's number 8. Shulani, giving you the podium.
I suppose there is somebody else who's supposed to join me on stage for this particular,
Sintuli.
if they can please ascend the stage with the little goodies that they are supposed to bring. Okay. Whilst, just a sec, whilst we're looking for the individual who's supposed to join on stage, I want to give you context of what the Photography Award is all about. Last year, we made an attempt to introduce a new element of the Nzima commemorative events that was in the form of a photography competition. It didn't take off well, but this year we managed to get the project going. So what is it all about? It's about taking the Hector Peterson picture of Dr. Nzima, exposing it to the students, and invite them to go out there and take their own photographs inspired by this picture and tell their own stories. That's what has happened. The competition was opened to the entire TUT campuses. Dr. Neshiombo is correct. So it was open to all the TUT campuses. And what we have here today will be the final 3 students who submitted compelling photographs and stories. I'm looking around to see if along the walls of this hall we have images of what they captured, so that you too can share in their inspirations. Thank you very much. The winner shall be announced now once I get the information correct.
Good day, everyone. I'd like to greet all the guests and observe all protocols. My name is Zesizwe Tuli, representing SALSI. We are sponsoring the events as well as sponsoring the prize. I'd like to congratulate the winner and also mention that the prize that the winner will be receiving will be delivered to the winner. I will not be mentioning further. Thank you.
Well, it's obviously not going according to plan. I was either going to mention the winners, or she was going to do so. So it's not enough that the prizes will be handed to the winners at some stage. Who are those winners? Who is the winner? Anyway, I'll leave it at that. But thank you so much indeed.
Thank you very much. We are moving to reflections on the keynote address, which will be done by Mr. Lukolo Hoboshi. Dlamini, do that.
A very good afternoon to all that are assembled here today. And let me acknowledge all the speakers that have spoken, and with the greatest of respect, say that all protocol is being observed. Prof. Nduli asked a question. He said, who is he? It's a fundamental question that begs us to ask all of us, who indeed are we as individuals, but also who are we as a people. We have been fortunate from an Adapt IT perspective to visit various parts of the continent. And the story I share is when I was in Kigali and it was time to have a meal. Due to my attentiveness, I heard them saying that we must go and have ukuria. Being closer on my side, I asked them to write it down, only to discover that the difference was just one letter. In Kinyarwanda is ukuria, and in Sixhosa you replace the R with a T, ukutya. That example made it very clear to me and my colleagues that I travel with that as Africans, we are in fact one people. Kiswahili ukudla. And the start for us is being clear on how do we see ourselves, who are we? And a number of questions that were raised here today, they speak to that. Dr. Neshiombo, whom I'm not seeing here today, or at this moment rather, his name, that of a drumstick, reminded me of something I came across which says, the one who dances for everyone forgets their own rhythm. And as I've been listening here today to various speakers, and I was picking this reference to Dr. Nechiombo from yesterday, I kept on thinking of sound. I kept on thinking of music. I kept on thinking of drums. And as I listened, this theme kept on building. I listened to the choir, and that choir sang a hymn incidentally that was given to me by my late mother. And I kept on hearing this sound. In a study that we did, a point was made that the only technology that we are naturally born with is communication. It is sound. I think it is also because of that, that those that are opposed to progress, that are opposed to voices, the first thing they try and do is to shut people up so that they cannot be heard. It is also in that spirit that the arts become so critical, because even when people's mouths have been muzzled, they are able to communicate what others may not be able to verbalize at a point in time. I was also, as I listened to Prof. Nduli, reminded of a Chilean by the name of Victor, we would call him Jaja, but it's Jara, who was a singer and a guitarist. And the Chilean government at the time, Augusto Pinochet, being very unhappy in terms of the message, decided to break his fingers and wrists so that he could no longer sing. And he sang through his lips the hymn that we came to know, that we shall overcome. My task is to acknowledge the contributions that have been made during the course of the day. Amongst others, to acknowledge the key messages that came from Prof. Dinyigo Maluleke. He speaks of heroes. He speaks of heroes who have no guns. I saw a clip probably last week. There was a gentleman that was being interviewed, you might have seen it. And they were asking him who his heroes are. And he said, "I thina into esinazo la izigebengu nje kuphela." So there were no examples of heroes that could relate to except izigebengu. To that end, Prof. Maluleke speaks about grotesque monuments that are being built for heroes or people that are supposedly heroes. And he says, Sam Nzima was a better hero. Being a scholar in business, the motto of good to great speaks to two things, which I think are important to emphasize in the broader theme of what we're discussing. The very first one says you always need to get the right people in the bus if you want to move from good to great. And I think part of the key question that many of us are asking is in the bus that we are in, notwithstanding where we may not be so clear as to where it is going. But that very first question is, do we have the right people in the bus? The second important principle of moving good to great is to make sure that those that are in the bus are sitting in the right seats. And I think you'll agree with me that many a times in our country, we ask ourselves whether we are in the right bus, whether the bus is going the direction that we hope for, and whether many of us are in fact in the right seats in that bus. And one of the reasons TUT is involved with the Sam Nzima Foundation is because we see ourselves being in the bus, needing to be in the bus, but we also need to make sure that we are sitting in the right seat in that bus. We don't want to be left behind, but more importantly, it is us that want to make a meaningful contribution to this country of ours that we love so dearly. I go back to Prof. Nduli, who says, who am I? And I ask once again, Kandi wena, who are you? Are you comfortable about your own identity and what you represent and how that shapes your outlook of the world? One of the most important aspects of Black consciousness is the fact that you have to see yourself as an agent. You have to be proud, you have to believe, and you have to own your own destiny. To what extent do we feel we own that destiny and our own future? Dr. Sam Nzima opened a wound. Prof. Nduli said, this is a deep scar on two fronts. The first, it is that wound is a reflection to all of us in the country and beyond. It continues to pain us because we'll acknowledge that what that wound represents has not as yet been healed. And there's an important aspect from our own side of the country that we continue to contribute towards the healing of that wound. And I think we're here because of that. Allow me to acknowledge the chair of the Sam Nzima Foundation. This project is a project that is not only critical, but it is also personal. And in the spaces that we are in, acknowledging its importance and needing to be part of such a project, it is also our attempt to help the family to heal the wound. Notwithstanding our limited means. The Prof says truth is dangerous. I think there are many that have paid a price for speaking the truth, but that does not make truth any less of a truth simply because there are some that don't like the sound or the visibility of that truth. In fact, it is when there are those that don't want the truth that those that stand for it need to believe in it and defend it with everything that it takes. There are many that are worried about dying, that fear dying. But I think more importantly, it is more about what we live for when we're alive. Do we stand for something? Do we believe in something? Are we prepared to sacrifice for what we believe in? The heroes that Prof. Maluleke was talking about, these are people that stood for something, that suffered for something, that were prepared to pay the price for something. As they say, it is better to live standing up in your own feet than to continue to exist in your own knees. Prof also spoke on the importance of language. And I won't dwell too much there. Suffice to say, indeed, we do have a very serious gap in our own country. And when we talk about decolonization, indeed, what is it that we mean? Decolonization of the mind, we speak in the sector about the curriculum. And to what extent does that decolonization speak to the actions that we undertake now? And the great tribute of Ngugi wa Thiong'o was actually on language. Ngugi refused to write at a point in time when he moved over from Makerere in Uganda and he went back to Kenya. When he started to write, he stopped using his name James and he pivoted and he used his name Ngugi and he stopped writing in English. And he rather had his books had to be translated to English, but he wrote in his own language, which was quite pivotal. And I think to the extent to which we must be mindful of this, especially on our children, that our languages need to be acknowledged and respected. I think that's extremely critical. The vote of thanks has been done. Siyabulela Butchabu for that, so I will not go through that list again. Let's acknowledge the good work of the choir that was standing here in front of us. The poet Lerato that came through just now. I had people say leadership. So obviously she's part of the leadership structures that we have here. As I conclude, I am reminded of a story, really, a parable, where there are neighbors that have just moved into this area. And the wife says to the husband, hey, you know, you see that lady that is putting up the washing is not clean. The husband looks at this and nods. Again, the next time, the following day, the neighbor is putting up the washing. The wife once again comments that, I am looking at that washing. I am wondering why this lady is putting up a washing that has not been cleaned. The husband keeps quiet. On the third day, the wife wakes up, looks through the window, and says, oh, hubby, I see that that lady has fixed that problem. The washing she's now putting up on the line is actually very clean. Do you know what happened? The husband said, I woke up early this morning and I washed the windows. We need to wash our own windows. We need to get our own house in order. We need to be aware of the status of where we are so that our outlook on the world is informed by the correct reality of what we should be seeing. I take this time to acknowledge my team for the work that they are doing and have been doing for quite some time. If you allow me, I have got Zakele Katide here. Zakele, if you don't mind just standing up. You've been working on this project for a long time. I've got Bridget Nguna, who is head of marketing, and I've got Leto, who's joined us here on the marketing and communication side. We shall be opening an academy, VC, as a TUT, where we look at partnering with institutions of higher learning, including the TVETs, Babomotse, to look at how do we leverage our capabilities to dent the unemployment of young people, particularly the graduates that are unemployed. And we'll be reaching out to the sector. In the next quarter, we shall be doing so. Thank you so much, and thanks you to you, Pujabu, obviously, our MC, Dr. Nechiombo, Prof. Shongwe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dlamini. Now we found the name of the winner of the competition. That is Sbusiso Mbata. He wins 50 gigs for 3 months and 5,000 rands from Corporate Affairs for this Dr. Nzima Memorial Lecture. Let's cheer him up, please. I understand he's watching from YouTube. Thank you. Yes, choir. Thank you very much, choir. We're going to get announcements from the campus rector, Dr. Nechuombe, and there'll be announcements concerning the sports. Yeah. After everything, the choir will lead us with the singing of the national anthem. After Nechuombe has done his job, and after the announcements of the sports results. Now they remind me, there's a token. There's a token that has to be given. Please, I'm leaving this space to those who will be giving the token of appreciation.
I thought the program director is properly wired and remember all of these things. So we would like to invite Prof. Nduli to ascend the stage for a token of appreciation. Yes, okay, Prof. Let your wife come with you on stage. No malanga. I heard you saying when you look at her, you remember things. So let her please ascend the stage. Assist her. Just in case you thought maybe I don't have a wife, me too, I will invite my wife to please come on stage. So Prof. Maluleke and I will hand over the present, the token of appreciation to Prof. Nduli.
Yeah. So you may ask your wife to join you. If she says no, you have my sympathies. Hello. If I knew I was going to get such a good present, I would have spoken better.
He says so, but I think he spoke really well. I don't think you'd have spoken any better.
Now you know why we are married.
Hello. This one is not for sale or anything. We are showcasing it. It is a limited edition of only 3 of its kind. This was curated by Ntlebela, who is a student of TUT. So we are showcasing this for bragging rights. It only belongs to only 3 people in the country will have this. Give me a chance to explain this. It is called a collage. It is a collage because the pictures that you see here were not like that initially. The center picture is the beginning of the March of 1976. But this is the beginning of history. So Prof. Maluleke has got 1 copy. Dr. Neshiobe has got a copy for this home. This is Dr. Roel Koza's piece. Thank you very much, Ntlebela.
Thank you very much. Now we'll get announcements from the head of this campus, Dr. Nejuombe. Thereafter, the choir will lead us by singing the national anthem. Otherwise, I thank you very much for all the cooperation that we had in this event. Thank you.
Just 2 quick ones. The first one is that all the guests that were received in the boardroom this morning and all those who have got an armband, please follow Regina. What is Regina? Regina, please be visible. In fact, there she is at the back. She is going to lead all the VIP guests to the student cafeteria, and the rest of us, I'm sorry to use this concept of the rest of us, it's not pleasant, but that is the fact of life. The rest of us would leave through that door there, the staff cafeteria, where we're going to pick up whatever has been prepared for us. So the guests that we received this morning, we've got the armbands. They will proceed to the student cafeteria, led by Regina. Regina, please come here. And we shall follow the following protocol. The Vice Chancellor, accompanied by Prof. Pitika Ntuli and his dear wife, the Nzima family, the Mazugo family will follow that order. Now, as I've said, the rest of us would live through that door there, go straight to the staff cafeteria. There's something prepared for you. That's students, staff, and everybody else. Now, let's request the choir to lead us in the singing of the national anthem. Oh, no, sorry, I forgot to mention something. Sorry. After lunch, it's going to be a short lunch. We're going to have finals, soccer finals and netball finals. The soccer is going to be played at the soccer field just up here, and the netball finals are going to be played here. They are going to be. Are you ready? Are you facing this side? Why?
We will all sing together. Everyone will sing as we sing the national anthem, and we'll stand up.